to share one of the most important parts of this whole process. I have 6 thinking prompts that have been on my mind the last several months, which have helped me to remember who it is that I wanted to be in 20 years from a health perspective. They help me define more clearly how I wanted to feel. They help me remember who it is in my life that need my influence and my leadership around health. So if this sounds like something that's important to you, that you can gain value from, I encourage you to keep watching. Spend some time in your calendar the next few days to get these answers in your life, to figure out what it is that's foundationally you can draw upon when things get hard so you can push forward and grow in health. All right, question number 1, what does the 20-year from now version of me want to be doing at this time? How do I want to spend it? And more importantly, how do I want to feel? I think that second part of that question makes everything more real, because I can think about being in Europe, traveling with my wife, but I can also think about how it's going to feel to go up and down a lot of steps, to wake up early in the morning for a tour that goes 8 hours. How am I going to feel doing that? That's the kind of question that I would encourage you to spend time thinking on. Not just what are you going to be doing, what hobbies you're going to be partaking in, but how are you going to feel doing what you want to be doing? All right, question number 2 is a little bit less fun, but I think it's an honest question that needs to be asked. So the question is, what chronic disease would you rather work to prevent or work to manage later? So when I ask this question to myself, my mindset is that I would rather work towards reducing my risk for developing type 2 diabetes, which runs in my families, rather, if possible, than managing type 2 diabetes and the increased risk of chronic kidney disease, peripheral neuropathies, blindness, increased heart disease. I want to put those things off as long as possible, or completely if I can. So for me, that's why I try to really focus on and be inspired to really focus on being proactive about prediabetes. Another example, heart disease. Would I rather know my risk factors and work to reduce my risk factors, or have to manage the follow-up from an acute event like a heart attack or a stroke and potentially have to undergo invasive procedures that save my life? Yes, I would want to do that. But the goal is, if I can know my risk factors and work to reduce my risk factors in general, that's what I'm after. All right, question number 3. If I don't start working on that 20 years from now version of me now, when will I start? And will it be any easier? Now, let me give a little more context to this question and give some truth telling too. I do believe, for sure, there are seasons of life where it is definitely easier to put a more intense focus on your health. I'm not going to argue that. That being said, I guess the point of this question is, if I'm thinking 20 years down the road from now, when I'm almost 70 years old, I don't want to start at 65 and give myself 5 years of runway to get to the athletic 7-year-old version of me. I want to give myself 20 years of runway to get to that version of me. So, while I think it's possible that in your future or my future, there is going to be a season where it will be easier for me to really intensely focus on my health, what I'm getting at here is I do believe there's something to be said that giving yourself a longer runway to get to the level of health you want to achieve in the future is a good thing. That's what we're after, and why it's an inspiration for me to start now, to do what I can now. All right, question number 4, and it's a powerful one. Who in your life needs your influence and your leadership? One of the most important and valuable quotes I think I've heard about teaching or modeling behavior is that more is caught than is taught. So your kids, and for me, when I ask this question, I really think of my kids, and I've thought about this for many years. And I've wanted to do my best to model health behavior and model interest in health and talk about it. And I think that that's something, if you put pen to paper, or you spend time on a walk, or you spend time behind your windshield in the drive, is really think who in your life needs you to show them what it looks like to be healthy and to take steps to get there. All right, question number 5. What mentors can I learn from or be inspired by and model behavior around? So I would encourage you, when you do this, to think of people in your immediate circle of influence, in your community, your family and friends, in addition to people who you learn from far, like public figures. So I have several people that I learn specific things from or that I'm inspired for some reason about. Today I'm going to share 3 examples. So number 1 is 7-time Super Bowl champion Tom Brady. So always was admired what he did on the field. Wasn't a hater. How can you hate what he's done as a champion? It's been fun to watch him transition to be pretty excellent in the broadcast booth. But what I'm currently learning about him is his nutrition. I have kind of read how he chooses to eat and really prioritizes a lot of plants, a lot of vegetables and fruits, and limited proteins coming from mostly chicken and fish. So for me right now, I am learning about kind of how he eats, how he chooses his foods, and actually I think his physique, he's lean but strong. That's something that I'm after, right? So that's kind of the body type that I want to continue to improve on, and those are the reasons I follow Tom Brady. Close to him, my OG neighbor Scott. So Scott is somebody who had been neighbors until we moved down here to St. Louis, and he always has invited me to do new things, from taking longer bike rides to going hiking overnight and doing things that were kind of out of my comfort zone that have piqued my interest to want to do more of those things. So he's somebody that I look up to, and just the amount of activity that he does and has helped me just to find a lot of joy being in nature. And so it's over the next 20 years, I want to do a lot more of the things that he's inspired me to learn about. Number 3 is Mark Sisson. So Mark Sisson is somebody that when I think of longevity, I think of him and what he's able to do at currently age 72. In this video, he is running on a treadmill, I think a few weeks after having a hip replaced. He is the gentleman who has the Primal Kitchen brand, which sold. And so he's somebody that I follow online. And again, I want to be active like him and have his physique when I'm 72. So those are 3 examples of mentors and people that I learn from and am inspired by. And I'll encourage you to have those kind of people in your life to help your growth continue. All right, question number 6. What freedoms would you begin to enjoy when you feel your best and having gained the confidence of regularly completing healthy habits? That's a powerful combination. When you not only feel great, when you're well rested, when you have energy, but pairing that with the confidence of doing hard things, boy, that is like gasoline on fire. So I would encourage you to think of 5 things that if you were to feel your best and you had the confidence that maybe you have lacked in the past, or if you have confidence and you have greater confidence, what would that look like? What impact would it have on your career? What impact would it have on your earning potential through a side hustle where you need to wake up early and stay up late? What impact would it have in the bedroom? What impact would it have on the golf course? You can see there's a number of things that you gain from feeling your best and having confidence. I encourage you, spend some time, write down a list of the things you choose to gain or stand to gain from that combination of greater energy and greater confidence. All right, so there you have it, 6 questions that have kind of been on my mind these last several months that I wanted to share with you today. I hope you find value in sitting down and spending some time thinking through the answers to these for yourself, or related questions that whatever it is can get you grounded to something to fall back on for when resistance will come to you. It always comes to all of us. So I think it's an important part. The mental part is really hard. So knowing what it is that will keep you motivated and what you have to work for is important. So spend some time, document it, solidify it on a piece of paper or an Apple Note or something, and I think that it will serve you well. Next week, I'm back for episode 3, and in it, I'm going to share a lot of things I've learned this year just from reading podcasts. I think some of my top things I've learned that have really opened my eyes. And I'm also going to share some of the lessons I learned the hard way with things I didn't do as well. So, and kind of what I took away from that as well. So hopefully you'll tune into that. I'm excited about it. Again, thanks for watching today, and I will see you next week. If this approach resonates with you, I'd love for you to subscribe and follow along.